Welcome back, everyone, to Against the Call. This is episode 73, and we are so glad to be back with you guys. We got a full lineup today, some great topics. First, we're going to have the pregame, as always, just getting into the basic stuff of what we're going to be talking about and what's been going on in each of our lives individually. We're going to have college football talk. We're going to have NFL news and discussion. We're going to have a fantasy football rants. And then we're gonna end it off with a post game as we always do. So start off with the pregame, boys. How you guys been? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I'm really excited to be back here, dude. Though it's fire. Let's do it.
Yeah, John.
Horrible, man. Watching Florida football sucks,
It's true.
and
It's
it
rough
is a
right now.
chore to watch it every Sunday, Saturday. Like,
I'm 50-50 on my football season right now for my teams, but we'll get into that later.
I feel you on that, man. But yeah,
So we aren't sponsored, but I'm drinking sweet tea if anyone's interested in what I'll be sipping on while we
Nice.
are doing this.
I
But
got the Baja Blast Taco Bell special. Definitely not
last.
sponsored either.
I got a water. Shout out to Jesus.
Okay.
Swag.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. So we'll actually talk about Jesus more because I think that the Florida Gators think that they're signing him as a head coach here soon. But other than that, we'll get right into college football talk, man. Let's start off with a team that we can all relate on, a team that we all love. You can kind of see the flag right there. It's on the hat. Let's talk about UCF, boys. UCF Knights, my school, John's second favorite school, Luke's third favorite or something like that.
I don't know. I like UCF. I mean, that's
He's just
really all it is.
yeah.
You gotta love it. It's the Knights, man. And yeah, so I've been able to go to the New Hampshire game. I've been able to go to the Sam Houston game. Obviously, did not go to TCU because I was away. This weekend, we have a big game that I will be attending. It is going to be UCF versus Colorado. And I'm
Yeah.
really excited to hear what you guys have to say about this game. I will be in attendance. It's going to be fun. Big noon kickoff is going to be in attendance. Urban Meyer. I'll try and tell Urban, go back to Florida. He already said he won't do it, but I'll try and tell him that. And then on top of that, we can talk about also Matt Leinart is there, and it's gonna be a good time. So our tailgate tent is gonna be kind of near, and I also saw UCF is allowing you to get there at a certain time. And if you have if I don't know what they entail by this, but if you have enough UCF spirit or something with your tailgate, then they'll move your tailgate tent closer to the big noon kickoff area to be on TV possibly. So we'll see what
That's
happens.
super cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And Luke, he was able to join me last home game against Sam Houston.
Yeah, that was fun, dude. I
How
had
was
a
your
great time.
experience with that?
Yeah, dude. That's yeah, being first time in the bounce house, like you definitely feel the energy. That is one heck of an environment. It's electric, dude. I mean, I know it was like against a smaller team, but still that place gets hype. So yeah, it was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah. And John, he's still gonna come out to a game one of these days, but as for now, he's watching UCF from home. But we got to talk. We had a bye week, so not a whole lot has happened with UCF in this past week. Close game against TCU. I mean, it had me jumping up and down with joy, but also does make me a little bit nervous going into this Colorado game. Colorado, although they've been struggling in some areas for sure, which
Right.
we'll get into, they are 3-1. They have been able to pull off games. And the last game was at Baylor. Or no, actually it was at Colorado. Sorry. It was at Colorado. So they will be they're having a little road test here. As you said, the atmosphere at UCF is crazy. Hopefully the fans will show up. I mean, it's practically sold out at this point. The
Yeah.
ticket fiasco to get my ticket was just a whole other podcast in itself, but it's gonna be a fun weekend. But John, let's hear your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, man. I mean, not much to say about the TCU game. I mean, I wasn't too impressed. I think I stated my remarks in the group chat that I don't think I could say on the podcast. But you know, it's gonna be a thriller. I mean, the house is gonna be rocking. Yeah, I remember when game day went there a few years ago against Cincinnati. I think it was in 2018. I mean that place was electric, and I'm expecting the same thing with Big Ten, or was it Big Noon, Big whatever. I forgot. I don't know what they call it. Big tech kickoff, whatever. Um, yeah, but yeah, man. I mean, I got some high hopes. I think this is a statement game for UCF. I mean, they're currently undefeated. barely beat TCU, but a win's a win in my book. And this game is really going to determine on what type of year UCF is going to have. You know, like if they beat Colorado, they should have a pretty dang good year. And also, they're going to play Florida, which we could get into that later. And that will also give us a little base mark on how they're going to do at the Swamp as well. So, but yeah, I mean, hopes are high. And yeah, I'm not really too worried about it.
Hopes
Hope
are
that
high. Hopes are high. I do agree with you. Like this will be a good foundation to how the rest of the season will play out. I think that a loss to Colorado this week, it's going to bring down momentum. It's going to bring down a lot of fan spirits. It's going to bring down mine for sure. Because our schedule, like, even though we are Big 12 and like there's some teams that aren't performing the best in the Big 12 right now, the rest of our schedule is actually pretty loaded. I mean, we got BYU, we got Utah, we got Arizona who's kind of fallen off a little bit, but I mean, we still got to play against them, and that's
it's
later
a
in the
tough
season.
it's a tough schedule to get
For
behind.
sure.
If we could pull out against Colorado, we could have high hopes going into all those games. So
Yeah. Luke, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a show and tell game for honestly both sides. I mean, Colorado still got a lot more to prove, and I think UCF does as well. I think KJ, him jumping into that team, he still needs to prove himself a little bit more passing wise. But the thing is that both of these teams obviously have shown already this year that they have the ability to come back and play, really well down the stretch, especially whenever it comes down to crunch time under pressure. They can come in and still win it and pull out a game. So I think it really comes down to one quarterback play. How is Shedeur going to play in this environment? How is KJ going to, start spreading the ball around a little bit more, start using his legs a little bit more? Is UCF still going to be able to push the ball down the field? I think they will, just because Colorado's defense is just looking very lackluster this season. What's Gus Malzahn? What's the Gus bus? What's his game plan going to be? There's a lot of factors. But it really also just it comes down to who starts fast and are they going to be able to keep with that momentum going, because either of these teams can come back and swing hard in the second half and play really hard under pressure. So we'll see. I think that this is a really interesting game. But I guess right now my pick would still be probably more edging towards UCF. Just because I think that if I'm being honest, I think that they're going to be able to run all over Colorado like pretty much the entire game. I just think that Colorado's defense is not going to be able to keep up that for 4 quarters with that, with Harvey just in the backfield. So, but we'll see. I think that there's a lot of factors, but this is an interesting matchup for sure.
yeah, and I kind of want to add to that. Sorry, but I know UCF is a rush first team. I knew that from the start, just between KJ Jefferson and RJ Harvey. But I would like to see them pass the ball a lot more
For sure.
often, especially in the 2 minute area. I mean, come on, dude. It was a TCU. It was what, 1 minute left, and we're seeing halfback draws with like what, 2, 3, 1 yard gains. I mean, of course, we ended up
Yeah.
winning that game, so it wouldn't have mattered. But against these higher elevated, higher level schools that we're going to be playing against, not no shot at TCU, but that's not going to cut it. So I would
Yeah.
like to see Gus call some more pass plays, have some more faith in KJ, and I need to see that from KJ to feel more confident about his play style. I understand they're a run first team. I understand that they're one of the top schools in the nation in running, but I need to see more diverse play calls from Gus this game.
Especially since Colorado is going to be probably throwing the ball a lot this
For
game.
sure.
So
For
if
sure.
if UCF gets down at all, like say they're down a touchdown or maybe down like 10 points, and you need to give yourself a little bit back into the game, and it might be late in the third, maybe start of the fourth, you have to start throwing the ball at that point. So like, because Colorado is going to continue to do it the rest of the game. So
Yeah.
I don't know. There is a lot of factors, but that's just what makes this game super interesting.
Also to stop in Travis Hunter. I mean, I saw the secondary last game just getting burnt by those TCU wide receivers. So
Yeah.
like we're gonna need a double team, triple team, quadruple team that man, because I
Yeah.
mean, like we can't have that one guy run over our corners like that. I mean, and we also just gotta stop him.
I think it is a
we
big thing to have Hunter like under constant pressure all game,
for
especially like
sure.
for him on defense. Cause like if he's getting gassed out or if he's just like mentally not all there on defense, then stuff like 100% starts to open up. Because
Yeah.
outside of Travis Hunter on that Colorado defense, it's really some Swiss cheese. I have to say, like,
Sure.
to say it bluntly. So KJ can definitely figure out a way to start throwing the ball out there if Travis Hunter starts getting in his head, or he's just not performing well on offense. So he just mentally isn't there on defense either. It just, I don't know. It's all based off of momentum at the start of this game. So
And I mean,
if Hunter's
UCF
under
will have
constant pressure,
yeah,
it could be interesting.
for sure.
I think that the play calling does need to stay in the realm of running as well, though. I think that even though I'd love to see KJ throw the ball more, and I mean in the comeback against TCU, he finally was slinging it and getting some positive yards that went a far distance. Like it was really great to see that. I mean, that's what led to our final game-winning touchdown drive.
Yeah.
But I think also KJ still has a lot to show me to gain my confidence in him throwing as well, because I mean it doesn't matter where he plays at, there's still some sloppy balls that are being thrown and everything. So we need to really hone in on getting RJ Harvey good carries, a lot of good carries, and we need
Yeah,
AJ to make good reads is what we need him to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely not turn over the ball.
for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, that'll just slow everything down.
turnovers in this game will be the deciding factor, because I mean KJ hasn't thrown a pick since the New Hampshire game, and I think that a reason for that is because Gus is going more run heavy. He's looking at winning games right now, which is what I'm down with, obviously. So
He's more
KJ,
comfortable with like
yeah,
it's been working. So, but yeah,
and I don't think KJ's had like over. I think he had over 200 yards the TCU game, but the other two games under 200 yards passing.
barely like at 200 TCU. So I remember seeing like 7 pass like completions. I think it was 7 for 10, and it was like 150. I think he did get over that 200 mark with that last drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
As
but I do
you guys
want
were saying though, with TCU's wideouts, like they were absolutely cooking us. I mean, we made TCU's quarterback look like Tom Brady out on the field.
to get
Like
like
they
over
had,
500 passing yards, man.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
crazy.
And if we're
That's why
letting
I'm worried.
TCU's quarterback do that, I can't imagine what Shador can do. Like
I
that's
know
what
that.
I'm worried
That's
about.
why I'm worried about the secondary, man. Like they got to lock up. But I remember just one conversation that we had in our group chat. Um, who would y'all take in a last second drive? JRP or KJ Jefferson? Who
Uh,
would y'all take?
it's such a hard
It
question.
really is. It really
Yeah.
is. And I like me personally, I would go with JRP. I know the interception issues. I know I seen it. Trust me, I seen it all with JRP. But trust me, that guy is clutch. He's clutch. He could do it with his legs, and he could also do it with his arm. And
I,
also,
I
I'm a
have
faith
I
for
have
sure,
seen JRP have better run plays. That's what I
for
will say.
sure,
Like
for
with
sure, for
KJ,
sure.
I kind of get nervous when he's running. I'm not gonna lie. It's not because
Hmm.
he's fumbled it or anything. I just know that like there won't be a lot of yards gained. He has gained some first downs running though. That is nice. But like JRP, like whenever I see him running, I know he's either gonna get injured or he's gonna get a lot of yards. So that's such a tough question though,
That's a
especially
hard
after
one.
KJ just led that game-winning drive.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to
Yeah.
bring it up because I know during that game that was a huge topic in our group chat, and I know me and you we went with JRP, and I'm sticking with them, but I'm curious about what y'all have to say.
I don't know. I think that we just because we've seen more of JRP, I guess you kind of lean more towards that. But I mean, I don't know. KJ obviously did what he did, so it's
And
hard.
KJ does have a lot to prove, and this could change at the end of the year once we see more of KJ.
Yeah.
But as of what we've seen right now, like I gotta go with JRP.
That's fair. Like I don't think you can go wrong either way here.
Right.
That's why I'm just kind of like, I guess right now
Yeah.
I would probably go KJ just simply because of what happened with TCU.
With TCU. Okay.
Because I mean, we were talking like at halftime, and
We
then
were talking. Yeah.
KJ worked his way around, and
He
everything like
proved us wrong. He proved us wrong for
yeah.
sure.
Whereas like with JRP, I mean, I have seen him not become clutch in some moments. So I don't know. That is definitely a question that we're gonna revisit like at the end of
For
this
sure.
season. Once we see the full season of KJ, because I mean also KJ will be gone after this year. So I don't know. JRP did have 2 years, but we'll base it off of his last year.
Just
So
that last year, yeah.
yeah, but Yeah, no, that's a really, really good question that a lot of UCF fans need to kind of ask themselves. But that is pretty much it for UCF football. Big, big game coming up. Make sure you guys tune in 3:30 on Fox. And let's move into the boys' favorite team, the Florida Gators. Florida Gators 2-2. They're 500 with an SEC win. But
Barely,
what the boys don't see.
barely an SEC team.
So John, we'll start with you, man. What are your thoughts?
You know, man, I don't really have much to say because I'm kind of out of that 48-hour window that I give myself to grieve, right? Um, of course, that last game I didn't have to grieve, but I think for the first time ever, I wasn't happy for a Florida win, only because I know what's ahead. I know what's ahead. I know what's ahead. So I'm like, but
I'm pretty happy about that win. I mean, I know it's Mississippi State, but we still went
yeah,
into enemy territory, and
we took
everybody
care of
thought
it.
that we were going to, not even win in the SEC at all. And we took care of business, and Graham Mertz, looked fine. So,
And speaking of that, like Billy's two quarterback system, I understand DJ Lagway is awesome. We saw him.
but he's still
I
so
understand.
raw is the problem.
Exactly. So I don't understand why he's going with the two quarterback system. Just stick with Graham Mertz. He went for like what 14 to like I don't know what his passing rating was, but he threw over what 200 yards, and that's with him
Yeah,
not getting every single snap.
yeah.
Like to beat these high quality teams, you have to get in a rhythm. That's what happened to the A&M game. No quarterback found a rhythm, and we saw that. We saw exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Not to mention our pass rush is bad, so I don't want to see what I don't want to even see what RJ Harvey's going to do.
It's going
I
to be
mean,
rough.
but
I'm going to tell you right now because our defense is a huge,
for sure,
huge issue right
for
now.
sure.
Like we
And
made that Texas A&M backup quarterback literally look like freaking
uh,
prime Cam Newton. Like it was nuts, dude. It was absolutely insane.
not to mention they rushed for over 300 yards.
Like it was just crazy, bro.
Yeah,
Like
but
at home again, like that is just terrible. And
and I
even
think
against Mississippi State, our defense did not look great at all. Like it just
I
really didn't.
I
The
do want to
pressure was
say.
kind of getting there
Mhm,
sometimes, but against the run, still
yeah.
not great.
I do want to say
Like,
they did improve of the run a tad bit. I mean, they did rush for
but
100.
the
I
the
understand.
moment
I understand.
the moment a quarterback goes out and extends
Mhm.
a play, like our secondary breaks
Yeah.
down every single time.
No, I know if it's third down and long or whatever, they're gonna convert it in
Yeah,
some way, shape, or form. I know. I just know that's gonna happen. But
I don't know what it is. Like,
no, I
jeez,
don't know.
it's rough, dude.
It's no. I'll tell you what it is. It's Billy Napier. It's
I
Billy
mean,
Napier.
the big problem. Yes.
And I'm worried if they do pull out a win for UCF, they keep him. I'm worried,
Yeah.
like because what like we play
It's
Kentucky,
going to be very bittersweet if we beat UCF for sure. Yeah.
yeah, and we play Kentucky, which Kentucky isn't looking great this year. I know they kept it close with Georgia, but we all know Georgia has that one game where they keep it close with a team that they really shouldn't. But we could beat Kentucky. I could say that we could beat Kentucky. I
Yeah.
could
Well,
I
we're
mean
not beating Tennessee.
no, we're not.
We're not beating
No,
them.
heck
We're
no.
not we're not going to beat Georgia and Jacksonville. And then we have to go into Texas and get destroyed by them.
No,
Like
those are the
it,
three for sure losses that I will give you. Also LSU. I don't think
I
we're
don't
gonna
know though.
beat.
LSU is just like they look kind of poopy too.
I know, but I just don't see that. Where do we play LSU?
We play them in the swamp.
I just don't know, man. Like it's just our
I don't know.
rushing, like our rushing attack is just not there. It's
Well,
it's it's
I don't
just
know why we keep on
non-existent.
starting Montreal Johnson because he's just not great. He's not as explosive as our backups that we have right now, and we proved that in the Mississippi State game. They're like
Yeah,
way more explosive. Like Montreal Johnson does not need to be RB
I,
one.
I'm
It
hoping
needs
we
to be
could
one of them
build.
too.
I'm hoping we could build from this Mississippi State game going into the UCF game. I mean,
Yeah, we do have a bye week, so
yeah, so a lot of stuff that we
big
can
stuff
hone
coming
in
up.
on, but yeah, man, and the whole I know we're gonna get into this, but the whole thing about Lane Kiffin coming to Florida, can we talk about that real quick? Can we
I
talk
don't.
about that?
I
Yeah,
just. I
we
don't
will
believe that happening for a second.
we
But
will talk about that. I just want to say one thing. This isn't to piss you guys off, but whenever I was watching this Florida Mississippi State game, I actually thought the play calling was like really good from Billy
no,
Napier.
it was. I
I'm
agree
It
with
not
was
you.
good. Yeah. Yeah, it was
like
good.
there was a lot of good passing plays that led to touchdowns. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
it was really good. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I
Now,
agree, but that just that doesn't happen as often as it should.
but it was
Awesome.
Mississippi State. I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like they're absolutely. I
But
think they're worse than Vandy this year. So.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, let's talk Lane Kiffin. So I did mention at the beginning, Florida fans think they're going to have Jesus Christ as their next head football coach. And it's pretty true because if you go to Twitter, I mean, everyone thinks that it's going to be Lane Kiffin. And then on top of that, I was talking to John and I
Uh,
said, hey, you know what's crazy? I feel like Florida fans should be saying that they're going to get Nick Saban out of retirement. And then John said, actually, I've seen that.
I have
No
seen that.
way.
No, I have seen that on Twitter.
What?
But this is what I gotta say about it, bro. He would be stupid to leave his playoff caliber team that's gonna be in the playoffs. They're gonna be in the playoffs
Yeah.
for a team that's struggling. Not to mention, there's no pressure. There is absolutely no pressure at Ole Miss. When you come to Florida, you are expected to win off the rip. Off the
Yeah.
rip. So why in the H would he go to this program where he needs to win? And why? He's chilling. He can rack up wins, rack up rings, rack up anything at the Ole Miss. He has everything there. He has everything. Florida does have the money. He can. I mean, Florida can pay for his contract. Can't buy him out. But
See,
will they?
the thing is like a
Oh,
lot of people are talking about how Florida,
I
like
know.
the only way Lane goes to Florida is if he gets bought, like if they pay him enough, which is very likely because Lane loves money. Like we know
Yeah.
I
that
know.
for a
Yeah, yeah,
fact.
yeah. But you,
But Ole
you,
Miss has money too. Like let's not forget that. Let's
Yeah.
not forget that
okay.
they're not an they are an SEC school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
They
you
they
know.
are just as rich, if not more. I
You
don't
know
know.
who I wish I could see more on my feed about? The coach down there at South Florida. Bulls.
No,
Alex
no, no.
Golish. Alex Golish. What's funny?
Are you serious, bro?
I mean, bro,
Are you
what?
being serious?
Yes.
The only thing I mean, I don't know. The only thing I would see like, going first is that he probably has a good ability in recruiting in Florida, but
I
I
mean,
don't
he
know.
built up this USF program that's been ass,
Hey, wait.
ass.
Let's be real here. Has he really built up USF yet? We need to see by the end of the season. He went 7-6 last season, and he had a bowl
That's
win
better.
against
That's
the
better
tight
than
end
what
at
they have
quarterback.
been.
So
That's
I
better than
wouldn't
what they
say that
have.
he's built up anything, dude.
this
At
season,
least not
Right.
yet.
now don't get me wrong, like he's a good play caller and he's great offensively. I loved him at Tennessee. He was offensive coordinator for Hendon Hooker when we beat Alabama. He's a great offensive coordinator. I love the guy. I hate that he's at USF. But I don't know, man. He still needs to do something more at
Yeah,
USF.
I mean, it's just I wish he was more talked about in the whole coaching carousel talks on Twitter.
What do you think about?
Because
Oh, never mind. I'm not going to bring that up.
but
I was going to
yeah,
say Lance Leopold, but he's having a really bad season. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
um,
yeah. I truly don't know who would be the next coach at the University of Florida after Billy Napier. I don't
yeah,
even know if we're going to even be talking about a new head coach because
I know.
If he beats UCF, he's probably going to be staying another year.
no,
I know you're
no. Let's not say that if he beats UCF, he's staying. He has to beat like an actual, like I love UCF, but he needs to beat an actual good SEC school for him to
Yeah.
stay, or at least keep it close with like keep
Or
it
win a
close with
bowl game or
Texas,
something.
or
Like,
keep it close with
Yeah,
Tennessee. Yeah, a
I
UCF
just
game won't
know
save him.
I just know like we're gonna have this one game. It could be against Texas, it could be against Georgia, it could be against any of these top schools that we're gonna face. So we're gonna keep it close because there's always that one game where we keep it close with the team that we're not supposed to do and we're not supposed to be. And that's gonna be like, well, look what he did here. He did X, Y, and Z right. And the stats will show like, oh, he actually had a decent year. But in reality, he didn't, and that's gonna save his job. Like I like that. That's what I'm worried about, and that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. I hope it doesn't happen. I hope they see through all that and they fire him and we move on and we just start fresh. But you know, it's definitely it's a real interesting year and it's a real interesting time to be a Gator fan. So
I'm really curious to know the other coaches that they have on their radar, other than this delusional like Lane Kiffin talk. I really want to know these other coaches because if some of these other coaches are more G5 coaches that they want to take a shot on, y'all got to stop that. Like you have to stop it. It
and we
it
have
worked.
money.
It
We
worked
have money
once.
to go.
It worked
Sorry.
once with y'all. It worked once with Urban Meyer, and now they try and play it into Billy Napier and who was the one dude? Not Muschamp, but
McElwain.
McElwain. Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's just I
Yeah.
don't yeah, I really want to see the what more serious fans are saying, more mild fans are saying for other
Yeah,
coaching
we're
jobs.
probably if this gets clipped on Twitter, bro, me and Luke are gonna get hanged by the Florida fans.
Yeah.
Like
Probably.
we're gonna be like, these are true fans, yada yada. Like, bro, we're gonna get clapped.
Well, it's just, dude, it's just because like we're pissed off. I mean, I'm sure that
Yeah,
a lot of them are
we're
too. Like
delusional. We're delusional. I'll say that the Florida fan
every
base
Florida
are
fan is a
delusional
little delusional.
for sure.
Same
All
thing with
day.
like Florida State. I mean, dude, there's a lot of fan bases that are absolutely
Every
delusional.
fan base is delusional.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, especially in the SEC, like they're all
Yeah.
delusional. But
That's why USF needs to be added.
no, dude, they should go to the ACC with FAU. I mean, FSU.
Yeah.
They should date because they both hate each other's conferences. I ship it. I
Well,
ship it. I mean,
but yeah,
USF should go into the ACC. Honestly,
hell no.
why?
Because well, first off, that's some more news I didn't even write down. Pretty much every AC, pretty much every, pretty much every American,
I'll
I
rather
think
take that off.
conference
So it's gonna be
school,
there.
every AAC school has committed to staying in the conference. I don't know if you've seen that, Luke, but they have.
Oh, I haven't.
No,
Uh,
but they still think they're gonna be moving. They're like, oh, they're playing chess. They're playing chess because like they didn't post it. They didn't post it. So
who didn't post it?
the athletics page, I don't think they posted
No,
it.
they did. They
They
did.
have okay. Okay,
They
before
have.
they posted it.
There's an athletics page that has posted each team, and under each team it says committed, and like they're
Yeah.
staying there. And I guess the AAC is doing some they're doing some new contracts for the next season to get more TV coverage or whatever. I don't really know who wants to see a lot of those schools personally. I think USF does just as fine on ESPN Plus as they have been doing, but
I
I
mean, every
think
time when they're on ESPN, they get blowed out by 50. So I mean, like why would you want to see that on ESPN game night? Unless if it's on like a weekday, like how they have Temple and Army tonight.
I did actually hear that like Miami game against USF, they shut off the broadcast
They
on like
did.
5 minutes of the
They
game.
did. Yeah, I had it on my computer screen because it was just a blowout. So, but I still want to have it. And I looked back because I knew the game was still going on, and it was like the BYU game. I'm like, bro, what? And I checked ESPN, and they still have 5 minutes left. I'm like, whoa, I never seen that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I did, like I have but I've never seen that before.
But Luke, to answer your question, and this is to any USF fan listening asking why I'm hating, why go to the ACC when your team's never won the conference, never even been to the championship game itself? There's no need. There's a reason why UCF and Cincy got to move. There's a reason why UTSA and FAU got to move up. But for
Right.
USF, all they do is chatter and talk and everything else, and they have nothing to prove for it. So if they win the conference this year, props to them. Daddy's not in the conference anymore. Talking about UCF. If they do somehow win it, props to them. Still shouldn't move conferences. I don't think so.
They're comfortable. They should be comfortable. I know the whole narrative of like, oh, we need to get out of this conference because it's bad, this and that, it's not, which it is bad. I mean, they're sharing it like
Yeah, but
what
they haven't won it.
I
So
know, I understand, but I would be comfortable sitting in this. Like in their eyes, they should win it. They should win the conference every year. Like, and that should be like that, they should expect that every single year. Now, of course, They play Tulane this week, so we'll see how that works. Is this their first conference game?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they played Southern. Yeah, it is. It
Yeah,
is.
so they play Tulane, and then of course they have to play Memphis. I don't know when they got to play Memphis, but I think those two games should be close. I know ESPN has Tulane winning that game. I think it's like a 72% chance on that. I could be wrong, could be lower, could be higher, but I know they do have Tulane winning. So, but I know I will be tuning in. I mean, let's be real here. I ain't gonna be tuning in, but I will have the notifications on my phone, and I'll be, paying attention to that. I'll probably be sleeping when that game's on.
For sure.
So, but yeah, I don't wish the best for USF.
That's the best way to put it. So now that we're wrapping that up, let's talk about this Heisman race going on. Lots of big contenders. The Heisman race, I feel like it changes every week. It always does at the beginning of the season. Players go in, players go out. Luke's got the list for us, and
Yes, I do.
definitely
You
discuss that.
want me to start from the top to bottom or bottom to top?
Yeah, let's start at the fifth one. Start at
Okay,
5.
so yeah, coming in with 31 points is Jackson Dart at Ole Miss right now. I mean, they haven't really played anybody too impressive, but
His
um,
stats. It's his
yeah,
stat.
his stats are pretty insane. He throws a lot of touchdowns and just a lot of yards. So, he's already logged in like over 1,500 yards and 12 touchdowns. So, to only 2 interceptions. So, pretty impressive so far. Yeah, coming in number 4, with 34 points is Ashton Jeetney. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his last name, Jeetney
Yeah.
from Boise State.
Mhm.
I mean, dude, what a guy! This guy kind of came out of nowhere, right?
Right.
But yeah, he's pretty impressive overall. With a freaking insane game against Oregon. I know that they ended up losing, but still, like he's going to be one of those backs that goes into the NFL probably somewhere early in the draft, and he's going to be a star. I can already tell.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in with a close one with 36 points to 34 points from Ashton Jeannie. We got Jalen Milrow at number 3 from Alabama. I don't really totally agree with this right now, but I mean,
Heisman
I guess,
him. Heisman
yeah,
him, bro.
I don't really understand why he's so. I don't know. I don't really get why he's top
Because
3,
they
but
beat USF, bro. Like,
I mean, it's yeah. I mean, he's there. Now with 10 more points than him, Cam Ward in Miami coming at number 2. I also don't agree with this just because I want him at number 1. I think he's a little bit better than the number 1 guy. But yeah, I mean, this guy already looks like an NFL quarterback. He's going to be a big prospect. He's going to go early in the draft.
yeah.
Him going to Miami, honestly, was a very good idea. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens next year for him because I'm pretty sure this is his last year.
Yes.
And honestly, he would have my vote for Heisman if it was me. And then obviously coming in at number 1, very close, 47 points. We have Travis Hunter at Colorado. I would definitely. I guess they're kind of interchangeable. Him and Cam Ward for 1 and 2 spot. I mean, just because Travis Hunter is a freak athlete, and I just wish he would just play wide receiver because, in my opinion, I don't think that he's that great of a DB. But that's just me. But he
Yeah.
is the
I
number
mean,
1
it's funny
spot.
you say that because he's the number 1 contributor on Colorado's defense.
I know that's what's pretty sad about it.
So,
But I think that
He does get blown by a lot. He gets scored on a lot. Like
because he's
as a
winded,
DB,
like he plays both sides of the ball, so he can't be
yeah, I know
100% all the time.
it's
But
crazy.
he's got to pick one or the other when he goes to the NFL, and I think it's gonna be a
Yeah,
wide receiver. I don't see him being corner, and I don't see him playing both sides of the ball.
yeah,
That's what usually
so
happens.
so who reported that, Luke?
that's on 3.
On 3. Okay. So
Yeah,
yeah, the funny thing with on 3 is like Travis Hunter, I think he started on 3's Heisman race at like 7, I think. But now he's number 1, which is crazy. And I do
yeah,
agree with you guys. I think, well, first off, I think Jalen Milrow should be lower. I think Jackson Dart and Milrow could switch.
I
Honestly.
agree. I think that
Um,
Milrow should be in the 5 spot. Dart's
yeah.
already had a lot more stats.
But I gotta kind of see how things go more. But I think Nico could end top 5 at the end of the year if he plays well. I hope that he goes to New York. Probably
Yeah,
won't win it just because Heupel does like to run the ball a lot.
yeah,
It's a Tennessee thing. But when you have a great running back room, you might as well run the ball.
yeah, for sure.
But I'm really excited to see how this race ends. And I wanna definitely revisit this probably every week, but by the time halfway through the season comes, it's when it's really gonna start to heat up. And Travis Hunter, I don't know if he's gonna be a number 1 for most of the season. I think that Colorado's got to win some big games. I think Colorado's
Right.
got to get to the Big 12 championship if they want Travis Hunter to win
Yeah.
Heisman, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think the Heisman winner this year is going to come from the SEC. That's kind of my prediction. But if it is Cam Ward, I'm all about it. That dude is so chill. I love that guy.
Yeah. He's nonchalant.
Yeah, nonchalant.
Nonchalant, man.
I'm really nonchalant.
It's just like that one guy on TikTok. But
Yeah.
anyways, we're gonna talk this is a big thing for us. Hopefully we can keep up our records, be a little college game day thing here. I don't know. College football picks for the week. We're gonna go through all top 25 teams. That's where we're gonna pick from, and we're also gonna have UCF, USF, and FAU to pick from. So does anyone have that pulled up?
I have it right here.
Yeah, I have it
All
pulled up.
right, so you can take it away and go over each matchup with us here.
All right. So tomorrow we have a game. It's Miami versus Virginia Tech. It's at Miami. I mean, I'm taking Miami there for sure.
This matchup is going to be tough, surprisingly, and the reason for it is last season. This is a different team, but last season Mario Cristobal started
Yeah.
at Miami as well, and he lost in his home stadium, just like he could this weekend. Virginia Tech was also the ACC favorite amongst a lot of people going into the season, but that Vandy game changed a lot of minds.
Yeah, for sure.
So this team still looks very nice. But I am gonna go Miami. I think the streak will continue.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, you know how those Friday games go, they could go either or. I mean, that's what makes a Friday game so awesome. But I'm not scared of Virginia Tech just because of what happened to Vandy. So just give me Miami doing a safe option here.
Yeah, Miami across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Miami for sure. Yeah, up next we have this is I'm guessing the first. Well, I mean these are all the first games of the day because these are all at noon. But BYU versus Baylor. Baylor Bears are 2-2. BYU is 4-0. Or wait, are they 4-0? Yes, they are 4-0. With a pretty decent win over Kansas State last week. So,
Crazy.
overall, pretty impressive season. They're putting up a decent amount of points. They only struggled against SMU, but SMU has a pretty decent, solid team over there at the moment. But yeah, and Baylor, I mean, they're just very up and down. They don't really beat a lot of good teams. I mean, they had a very, impressive show out against Colorado last week. Obviously, losing to that, OT dime piece by freaking Shedeur Sanders or whatever. But
Perfect time, man.
I'm really not sure who to pick in this game. I think that this is a pretty interesting matchup. It is at Baylor. I don't know if that affects it too much. But I guess I would take BYU just because they've had a pretty impressive season and they are undefeated and they put up a decent amount of points. But I just don't know too much about these teams.
John?
Yeah. Watching BYU last week was crazy against Kansas State, unexpected even. I mean, they showed out when it mattered, and I've been honestly really high on BYU since the first week. I mean, I had them over SMU when they played them first, and of course they showed me right. So I got to go with the Super Soakers on this one.
Yeah, it is kind of bad to start off the picks taking each favorite, but from what I saw last week, I watched almost the entirety of the Kansas State BYU game, and I've been super impressed with what I saw last week. Going into Baylor won't change much of it. I think that Baylor is a really solid team, and I think Baylor is going to be a bowl team this season. But I think that BYU is going to continue to get better, and I hope they stay getting better because when UCF plays them, I hope we beat them, and hopefully that'll be a ranked matchup. So give me BYU in this one.
Also, Baylor ain't like they really should have won against Colorado. Like that,
Yeah.
minus
close
that dime piece, they really should have won. So,
Perfect
But
time.
the fact that their defense collapsed like that, like,
oh, dude,
Yeah.
that was
Under pressure? Like, we're gonna do it like that. Anyways,
Yeah.
I like it. I love it. Next game that we have up here is a pretty tight one, rankings wise. It's Oklahoma State versus Kansas State. This game is at Kansas State. Both coming off of losses last week, from two pretty decent teams. Obviously, Kansas State losing to BYU, and Oklahoma State losing to Utah.
Utah with a backup quarterback, Zach
Backup
Wilson's
QB.
little bro.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson's little bro.
Not a great game for Oklahoma State, especially for their quarterback turning over the ball twice. It's just, I don't know. They didn't really look like they were clicking. Yeah, especially with the backup quarterback, that just didn't look very good. But I don't know. Both coming off losses. I think that this will be a tight one just because I'm sure that they're desperate for a win. And I'm going to say Kansas State here.
Kansas State.
Yeah, just because they've had just a more impressive season than them. I know that loss to BYU is pretty tragic, but I think that they're still a good squad, and BYU is just legit. And they do have that impressive win over Arizona, who Arizona was preseason actually rated kind of highly by a lot of people. So I'm going to take Kansas State in this matchup.
I think that from what I've seen, Oklahoma State has a really, really solid defense. And I think that if they can get Ollie Gordon running this time around and their quarterback stops throwing over so many picks, I'm
Yeah.
going to take Oklahoma State in this game. And the reason for that is their defense can play on par with Kansas State's offense, which we just saw BYU's defense absolutely almost shut them out. I think
Yeah.
they had 2 field goals from Kansas State. Avery Johnson looks like a girl, not that impressive. I think that Oklahoma State's going to win this. This one's for Coach Jay, who I interviewed, man. Love that guy. He's over there at Oklahoma State. Give me them pokes. That's what they call it. Pokes.
I like it. I love it. What about you, John?
Yeah. The show out from Kansas State, or I guess not really a show out against the BYU. I mean, I'm not too impressed with the Kansas State. I'm not too impressed with what's his name, Avery Johnson, which he does look like a girl. He can really pull off that girl
he
look.
does.
But this is a get back game for both of these schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're both going to be hungry, but I just kind of ride with Oklahoma State, man. Like it's just, yeah. I mean, Avery Johnson, seeing him against BYU, not too impressed.
I get it for sure.
I got to take the favorite on this one.
I like it. Next one up on the list is Minnesota taking on Michigan at Michigan. Obviously, Michigan has had their fair share of issues on their defensive side of the ball. But I mean, just because it is a lower class opponent and they are having to play in Michigan, I think it's probably more so obvious to pick Michigan in this matchup. Also, just having Iowa put up 31 points on Minnesota is also very tragic because Iowa is Iowa. But yeah, you got to take Michigan in this game.
John?
Michigan. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Michigan, especially after last week against USC. I don't think I was expecting that. Not even Desmond Howard, who always picks Michigan, was expecting that. I'm a ride with Michigan on this one. Minnesota hasn't shown me anything. And what was that at the beginning of the season? Minnesota played North Carolina, and they missed like the game time field
goal. Yep.
Fireworks went off and everything, and they missed it.
Yeah, I know.
That kind of is a
hallmark to how their season's going to be going.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the word for a hallmark. That's perfect. Hallmark for how their season's going to be, dude. Yeah. So give me the Wolverines.
Yeah, taking the Wolverines there. Love it. Love to hear it for sure. So we're all in agreement. Next matchup is an SEC matchup. It is Ole Miss versus Kentucky. It's at Ole Miss. I mean, this one's also pretty easy. Kentucky just does not look very good at all. And I think Jackson Dart's going to eat that defense alive. Yeah, so, and I know that the Ole Miss environment is also pretty hostile. But
give me Ole Miss. I think final score is going to be 49-14. That's what I'm right now.
I like it.
Blowout. I think blowout. I think
Yeah.
that it's going to be a great showing for Jackson Dart and his Heisman race that we're talking about. Finally getting an SEC team. Kentucky is bad. Brock Vandergriff throws a pick every game, if not 2. And
they just look pretty sad.
It is.
Yeah, I think that Georgia game was a fluke for Kentucky. I think Georgia just had a bad game, so I'm not too impressed with Kentucky. I mean, that South Carolina game that they played, was it week 1 or week 2, whatever, that showed the true Kentucky, and that just showed their true colors going forward. So yeah, I gotta
Yeah, I
ride.
mean, in the game of football, almost just does not cut it. Shout out USF. All right, our next matchup is Arkansas versus Texas A&M at Texas A&M. I mean, Arkansas has got a pretty, nice offense going. I think that their quarterback, it's. I mean, how many years has this dude been playing, and he's still kind of mid? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do here because I don't know if Texas A&M has their quarterback back yet. I haven't looked into this game too much yet. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm I'm thinking Arkansas.
Yeah,
I really do like their offense, like you're saying. And I do hope Arkansas wins this because Tennessee plays them next week. And if Arkansas can somehow get a win over a ranked opponent, that'd be very nice. Going up against us, it's going to be a fun matchup. But I'm just going to take
Arkansas is just
Arkansas.
always that team that like I don't know. They seem to have a solid scheme going, but they just for some reason never get.
Fall off at the end of the year.
They're like somewhere in the middle of the season they just start to die. Like I don't know what it is. They go against like an actual real opponent and they just get freaking sideswiped.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I'm taking Arkansas on this. Texas A&M still hasn't proved much to me. I remember whenever I saw
Yeah.
them ranked again, I just kind of laughed.
I
But
think that people think that they're kind of back just because of that win against Florida, but really like they played Florida and like Florida is a very broken, vulnerable team at the moment. So yeah, Texas A&M is not really impressive in any sense of the word. So I guess I do have to agree with the fact that Arkansas can take this one. I mean, I don't think it matters that they're at Kyle Field too much. So I don't know. We'll see what
12th
happens.
man.
Yeah, home of the 12th man.
I mean, I think this game's gonna be pretty tight. I honestly think this could be one of, if not the best games of the week.
You think so?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, minus Georgia and Bama, but I think
Yeah,
this could
that's the tough
be
one.
in contention with one of the best games of the week. So I think both teams are evenly matched. I want to give A&M a little edge only because it's at home. We know how the 12th man likes to show up. I mean, so I'm gonna go ride with A&M. Just because it's at home, but I do think it could go either way. Really,
Yeah, for sure.
really. So.
Interesting stuff for sure. Thank you for that analysis, John. We love you. All right. Next on the list, we got an interesting matchup. This is Louisville versus Notre Dame. Um, Notre Dame, I don't know. They're having a pretty interesting season right now. Obviously losing to Northern Illinois in the beginning of the season was odd. Um, but I mean, they've kind of bounced back a little bit. They haven't really played anybody too impressive, but honestly, I like Louisville. And I think that Louisville is having a pretty impressive season so far, at least in my opinion. And I'm going to take them to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, ESPN predictors have Notre Dame 67.5% to win this game over Louisville. This is going to be at Notre Dame, of course. And then, you got Tyler Shaw. How do you pronounce the last name? Shaw?
Ciao.
Shaw? I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know how to pronounce it, but I do know he's a good
Yeah.
quarterback. And his comparison to Riley Leonard is actually very nice. I mean, this guy has 850 yards on the season so far, 8 touchdowns. Riley Leonard, on the other hand, has thrown 1 touchdown the
Yeah.
entire season. But it could go either way. I know that Notre Dame has really been running the ball a lot this season with Love. Um, Louisville is leading the conference right now, which is funny. But I think that this is going to be one of the better games of the week, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Um, I think I'm going to roll. This is a really tough one for me. Um, just because throughout the recent years, I've kind of grown a liking to Notre Dame. I used to hate them, but once what's his face, Brian Kelly left, I've been really kind of riding with him. I love Marcus Freeman. I like what he's doing there. But that loss to NIU was rough.
Mm.
Uh, and I don't know, man. I'm gonna take Louisville in this just because I think that they are better offensively. But I really have to see how these defenses play differently. I mean, I remember watching Notre Dame against Texas A&M. Their defense really held up well. But against NIU, man, that's just pathetic. So, and that was at their house too. So
Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing for sure.
I think Louisville is also one of those teams, especially last year, that just was so close, man. So close. Like the ACC championship was right in their grasp, and they just fell apart. It was a low scoring game for the most part, and somehow FSU's backup won it. But I think that this year's going to be a different story. I'll take Louisville in this one.
Yeah, I like it. John?
Yeah, I got to ride with y'all on this. I'm not too impressed with Notre Dame. I'm not saying that they're horrible by no means. I still think that they could sneak into the playoffs with the 12-team playoffs now and like going on. But yeah, it's gonna be Louisville. So
I like it. Yeah, I'm pretty
I think
pretty
Notre
high on them.
Dame sneaking into the playoffs is going to be hard if they lose this though. That's two losses, one
Yeah.
against the G5 school, and they're not even in a conference, so they can't win a conference to get in.
yeah.
I don't
It'd
with the
be
loss this
highly
week,
unlikely.
yeah.
Highly unlikely for sure. With our next matchup coming in at another 3:30 matchup, we have USC versus Wisconsin. I mean, this is a pretty easy one, guys. I think that USC is going to play pissed off after that loss against Michigan, and Wisconsin is just bad. Even with their 2 wins, they're against nobody schools, and they're not very impressive wins. They have a lot of problems on offense. They just, I don't know what they were thinking against Alabama. They just were not clicking in any sort of cylinder, and I think that USC is going to roll. I think that they're going to roll in this game for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Miller Moss. I think he's a great quarterback. I don't think that last week was the best showing, but I mean, when you play in the big house, it's hard to come out alive. And USC is finally getting a taste of that Big Ten play. And this is gonna be another Big Ten opponent that should be better than they are, to be honest. But Tyler Van Dyke's still dealing with injury. You gotta give me USC in this one. I really like now now that Caleb Williams is gone. I really like USC. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, true.
Um,
I agree
go
with that.
Yeah, I'm riding with y'all on this. I don't yeah, I'm riding with y'all on this.
ahead. Yeah,
Thank you for that analysis, John. That was fantastic. I like
USC
it.
has an 87.8% win chance.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
But yeah,
they're gonna roll on this one. Yeah, next matchup we got is the Oklahoma Sooners versus the Auburn Tigers. It is in Auburn's territory. I mean, both of these teams. I mean, it is an SEC matchup, so I mean, it can get a little crazy, but both of these teams have had their fair share of struggles again offensively. Um, Especially Oklahoma. I mean, just the struggles that they had is it's just weird. They don't put up enough points really. Yeah, and the game against Tennessee, I mean, it wasn't a huge point spread at the end of the game, but I mean, if you watch that game, Tennessee was winning the entire time, like through and through. The score definitely doesn't show how much of a blowout it really was. So,
I mean,
um,
whenever you got Heupel who's playing more conservatively at the end,
yeah,
which truly I think is because it was his alma mater. That's honestly what I think. But
yeah,
but I think
maybe,
also, keeping guys healthy. He saw how good the defense is playing. He knows that the offense can afford like fourth and outs. But yeah, this matchup for me is pretty big. Who do you have in this one, Luke?
for Oklahoma Auburn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Oklahoma to win. I just think that Auburn is even more less impressive. I don't know if that's English, but they're just yeah, they're just kind of bad. I mean,
I don't think
it's rough.
playing at Jordan Hare doesn't do much of a difference. They lost to Cal this year there
Yeah,
by a touchdown. They struggled against New Mexico for a little bit, but they were able
yeah,
to get away from that one. And then of course they lost to Arkansas last week.
right. I'm gonna
Which
take Oklahoma. Boomer.
I'm taking Oklahoma too, and I'm also taking them because they did bench Jackson Arnold in that last game. And I for what's this guy's name? The backup that came in. He is a stud. I'm not even gonna lie. He's a true freshman.
it'd have like 5 interceptions or 3 interceptions in the first quarter, but that's just or
Who?
first half.
Jackson.
The true freshman quarterback for Auburn.
What's his last name?
I'm trying to look that up right now, but keep talking.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his last name, but no, You're saying the true freshman had that many? I know Jackson Arnold had that, but
Hank Brown. Is that his name?
Casey Thompson? No.
Yeah, Hank Brown. Yeah,
Hank,
he had three interceptions in that
Hmm.
one game. So, and I remember seeing stuff of him getting so
yeah,
but yeah,
but I
he's a
mean, like
freshman. That's kind of expected though, so I can't
he's
really.
very nice on his feet, though.
Oh yeah,
It's like a good thing. I mean, I remember also, I mean, what I was seeing was him playing against like a pretty tired Tennessee defense, but either way, I think that there is some sort of a bright future with that guy. That's all I was really trying to get with that. But or no, it wasn't Hank Brown. It's Hawkins Jr. That's his lot. That's his name. Um, yeah, Hawkins Jr. He's gonna be good for the Sooners in the future. But either way,
oh,
give me Oklahoma in this game. Auburn is awful.
yeah. I got to ride with y'all. I mean, I think the game could be close with it being in Auburn, but yeah, I mean,
I don't
looking
really
at
think
the
that matters.
huh?
I don't really think it's gonna matter that it's in Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the stats, man. I mean, I'm just not too impressed with Peyton Thorne.
Mm-mm.
Not even,
No.
so and I didn't watch the game against Tennessee because I didn't really see a point of watching that. But I just know Oklahoma's there for revenge, so just give me Oklahoma. So
True.
I say going forward with these let's kind of like just give our take on some of them, but let's like really talk about the Georgia Alabama one.
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah.
we might as well just go straight to that because there's really no other game.
Yeah, I know
Except
because
Illinois and Penn
We
State.
know Texas is gonna beat Mississippi State.
Give me Texas in that. Ohio State versus Michigan State. Give me
We'll take
Ohio,
Ohio State. The
obviously.
only other interesting one besides Georgia, Alabama, I guess, is Illinois, Penn State,
Yeah.
because Illinois is really good right now.
Illinois, Penn State is big. Also, like Stanford, Clemson is big. Like whether you want to talk about it or not. I mean, they're both 2-1. Stanford's a fun team this year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
in Clemson though. It is in Death Valley. So
How about South Alabama and LSU? I know that's not a huge game, but seeing how South Alabama played, I know it's against lower opponents. I know they're playing against LSU. Who knows, bro? That could be an upset watch right there. You know?
they did
it's
score 87 points.
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
possible.
we could be on upset watch on that.
But I mean, they scored 87. They scored 87 on a FCS school, and then they scored 49 on a really bad Appalachian State team. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
so.
We'll
This
see.
game will be the true test, though. It will be. But yeah. So let's see here. Who y'all got? Stanford, Clemson.
I'm gonna take Clemson just because it's in Death Valley, but I don't know.
He's Stanford.
Stanford. I'm
Yeah.
actually rolling with Clemson. The reason for it is just because their offense has been on fire recently.
Right.
And it's been kind of exciting to watch. But the next
Yeah.
game, Iowa State, Houston, it it could really go either way. I think Iowa State is kind of overrated in some ways, but Houston is having a horrible year. So give me Iowa State in that one. And then let's see here. Illinois, Penn State. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Illinois, man, they showed out against Nebraska for sure. I was able to watch most of that game, and whew, it was fun. Went into OT.
This is
And
their first real test, like for both schools, really. So,
Yeah.
truthfully is.
um,
It is at Penn State. Um,
Coach is saying bring the whiteout energy. I don't think this will be a whiteout, but he is calling all the fans to bring that type of energy. So who knows what type of crowd they'll have over there. So
I think Penn State's winning, honestly. I think that it's just one of those games where Penn State can beat a good ranked opponent, but by the time they get to Michigan and Ohio State, they lose. So
yeah, I can see that.
but yeah, let's talk about the game of the week where college game day is gonna be at. It is Georgia versus Alabama. Whew, it's awesome that we get this matchup during the season.
Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, if we're being honest, this game could be played 3 times this year. It's a very high possibility. There's a lot of games that could be played 3 times this year. The regular
Which is
season,
crazy to say.
conference, and the playoff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
crazy to say.
it is in Tuscaloosa. Um, that Tuscaloosers that are down there and whatnot, but it is a really big game. 2 versus 4. Um, let's hear what you guys have to say about it, John.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama, ESPN is predicting Alabama to win this game 56.8%, but I don't really think that gives. I can't really rely on that too much, right? Because you know how Georgia is, you know how powerful that offense is, you also know how powerful that defense is too. But I do think this could go either way. It could be a high scoring game or it could be a low scoring game. I think it's going to be even either way. But definitely a game that I'll have on my big screen this time. But yeah, just it's a tough one. It really is a tough one. It could go either way. But give me Alabama. I think they could take down the juggernaut. I think they could take it down.
Yeah, I like it. I
But
mean, I really don't know with this one, man. It's hard to pick Georgia just because I mean it could have been a fluke, but that game last week against Kentucky is scary. So I guess I kind of get why ESPN has him favored in this game, just because Alabama really does put up a lot of points right now. I feel like if Georgia is starting off slow or if they play slow on offense at all this game, I feel like it could be tight and very defensive, but I think that Alabama might be able to run away with it in the
I
second
also
half.
I
So
also want to bring up the USF Bama game. I know that ended up as like a blowout, but
yeah,
the game was closer than it really was.
that is true.
But
But
yeah,
they like,
so
again, I mean, they still were able to like
they
pull
were
away with
able to
it.
put up
So
points. Yeah, so but they started out slow. So if
yeah,
one of these teams starts out slower than the other, and they're able to pounce on that, that could be the difference.
I see this being tight in a very defensive way.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a defensive game,
for
honestly.
sure.
But I do think that one of these teams definitely is going to end up with a 2-score lead by like near the end of the fourth quarter or something like that. So, and I think that that team's Alabama, if I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to choose them to win this game.
I think that this game, although their defenses are great, I think that this game is going to be a shootout. If I'm being
Mhm.
honest with you, I could see the final score being 30-27. Somebody gets a field goal either earlier in the game or a game-winning field goal, whichever. But I really think that these two squads are going to be, especially with Jalen Milroe and Carson Beck, who aren't afraid to throw the ball. There will be some deep passes that could lead to some big scores. And I think that this game right here, Alabama's going to win late in the game. I think it's going to go back and forth for the entire game. We're going to be on the edge of our seats until the final play. And I think Alabama's going to take it. That's all I really think. It's going to be a fun one for sure. I can't wait to see what College Game Day is going to put on down there in Tuscaloosa. I rarely ever pick Alabama, but Georgia's kind of taking the cake now for the dynasty to hate on.
Yeah, seriously.
And I
Everybody
mean,
wants
this
them to lose.
for the most part, this same Bama team has beaten Georgia last season and kicked them out of the playoffs. The only thing really different is a few key players, but also just Kalen DeBoer is now the head coach, so different play calling. But he hasn't done anything that awful. I mean, look, he's scored nothing less than 40 points this season. Even whenever he was down for a split second against USF, he was still able to finish the game with 42 points. So
Yeah, that offense is fast.
Yeah.
Space, fast, everything.
it really is. So that is pretty much it for the bigger games. There's obviously like a few other games, Washington State versus Boise, blah blah blah. But we took a lot of time to talk about college football.
Yeah,
Wow.
we did.
Too
Um,
much, way too much.
Yeah, well, a lot of time for
Yeah.
sure.
There's definitely some things in here that we could still talk about that I had written down, but we're gonna just talk about them another time. Let's just jump into the NFL. NFL news and discussion, boys. Luke, you can start us off because you're repping your team, the Steelers. They are 3
Yes,
and
sir.
0, and I know
Yes,
you got a
sir.
lot to say on that.
Yeah, I mean, we were on a lot of, those contender and pretender lists. We were constantly in the pretender spot. Just because like our offense still kind of looked at, a little bit lackluster or whatever. Our week 1 game, I mean, it was all field goals for us to win the game against Atlanta, but our defense is still the best in the league. I will continue to say that. TJ Watt is still the best defensive player in the NFL. I will continue to say that. And honestly, our offense under that Arthur Smith and Justin Fields rule, it's kind of working. And we were able to finally see that kind of get more and more into fruition and start seeing things open up against the Chargers, who are also a pretty freaking good defense in the NFL right now. They're top in the league. They're a top AFC defense in the league right now. So, and I mean, say what you want about Herbert getting hurt later in the game, but I mean, he did play most of that game. He didn't leave until like almost the beginning of the fourth quarter, and then Taylor Heineke came in. Who, Taylor Heineke is Taylor Heineke, but he's still a pretty solid backup. So, but I don't know. I think that I'm pretty freaking excited right now. The fact that Justin Fields is playing a lot better right now. We honestly don't even need Russell Wilson. We could go trade him somewhere, maybe like the Raiders and get Devontae Adams or something like that. I don't know. That'd be hilarious. But I think 3-0. We're definitely proving ourselves right now, and we just need to keep on going. We play Indianapolis this coming up week. That should be an interesting game. We'll see what happens because I know that, I mean, Indianapolis isn't playing too great, but they are an offense that can be pretty electric and have really big plays downfield. So we'll see what happens there, but I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Big stuff going on in Pittsburgh. Justin Fields, he looks like he's found home.
I think so.
And
Let's
any
go.
word on Russell Wilson? Like, what's up with that? Is he still?
I don't know, but I mean, right now the fan base doesn't even really care to see him just because of what is, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Like Justin Fields is kind of doing what he needs to do, extending plays with his legs, getting us downfields. Again, constantly a big thing is constantly leaving the field with points, like as more times as possible. Like I know that we don't put up a ton of points, but like through and through, our offense looks way better than whenever it was under Matt Canada's rule. So, I mean, it already looks a lot better. I do want to see more points scored, but I mean, that's just because we're greedy as Pittsburgh fans.
If you're winning, you're winning, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. As long as it's, less losses than wins, it's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you're very happy to not see Matt Canada anymore. We know
Yeah,
that.
100%. Yeah, that was a problem, man. That was such a
Um,
freaking problem. Such a freaking problem, man.
but
Gosh,
yeah, Steelers are killing it. We got to see what else has happened. If you
for sure.
remember, not I don't think it was last season, but yeah, 2 seasons ago, the Panthers started 3-0 as well, and
Fell apart.
they had a really bad end of the season. But I want
Yeah.
to lead that into our next kind of topic, which is the Panthers. Um, is Bryce Young cooked, boys?
Yeah, I think he unfortunately is, bro. I mean, the fan base is definitely cooking him right now. And the Red Rifle went out there and threw 3 touchdowns in the first half. Like, it's like, oh, okay, maybe Bryce Young is actually just bad. Like, which is sad, dude. Because I mean, Bryce Young, you can't hate on him, but I think that at the end of the day, he just doesn't physically, he cannot physically keep up with how hard it is to be in the NFL right now. Like he's just too undersized. He's not fast enough. He doesn't have the accuracy. He really has to. There's literally clips of him having to jump whenever he throws because he can barely get the ball over the line. Like he just doesn't have the physical criteria to really be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I also love Baker Mayfield, but whenever he said that his story is far from over, I kind of disagree. If I'm being totally honest, I think this could be the end of the road for Bryce Young, which sucks.
Yeah, I think that a lot of times, especially throughout this season up until last game, a lot of people were saying it's not Bryce Young's fault, man. It's the Panthers. He's working with the Panthers. And then you put
Yeah.
a rifle out there and he makes the Panthers look like they could win a playoff game. And then you're
And
just
honestly,
like,
this is a little off topic, but it kind of shows how like good Kyler Murray is because a lot of people expected this to happen to him, like the same thing, because he's extremely undersized as well, but
yeah.
he's been able to find success.
Yeah, but
So
that Call of Duty game hasn't dropped yet, so we'll see what happens.
we'll see what happens. Yeah, whenever he starts streaming again, we're gonna be like, oh shit.
But John, what do you think about the Panthers, man? This past week, big stuff.
Yeah, I mean they're with they're sorry, I'm discombobulated. But yeah, they're yeah dude. One
Yeah,
line.
man. Yeah, right. It's the
Yeah, for
fantasy,
sure.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go.
Everybody give John a round of applause.
Nah, man. I understand, bro. He's so
They left me speechless, but they are going to be I don't want to say competitive in a division. They could be depending on what happens this week, um, but yeah, I mean, they took the words right out of my mouth. I
Mm.
I felt
really threw the curveball there, but I didn't expect you to come to me.
But yeah, just some other things we don't really have to get into. But the Bengals are starting 0-3 once again. Joe Burrow keeps getting the same script over and over. Also, Vikings are doing great with Sam Darnold. He's looking really good. I mean, a big win over the 49ers, 34-7
Mm.
this last Sunday. Absolutely insane. A lot of people are excited to see this Sam Darnold back. I'm not opposed to it at all.
Yeah.
As long as, I know JJ McCarthy's dealing with injury, but dude, Sam Darnold compared to JJ McCarthy right now, I'm going Sam Darnold any day.
Yeah. Looks like it.
So we'll have to see where this puts the Vikings. It's only been 3 games. It's only been 3 games, but if the Vikings still continue to do good, it's going to be a weird discussion at the end of the season to see who's QB going into the next season. But also just other news, Tua with the concussion,
Mm.
his future is looking really dull. I know that he said that he's staying in the NFL. A lot of big commentators, a lot of big people on ESPN and everything like that, a lot of big sports broadcasting programs have said, "Hey, it's time you pack it up, man.
Yeah.
You could be putting your entire life on danger if one more big hit."
Yeah.
He's had like 3 of them,
Yeah.
or more, and yeah, it's just not looking that good for him, and it's not really looking that good for the Dolphins. Skylar Thompson, who was able to keep it close and almost win a playoff game against Buffalo, is now just looking horrible. And
Yeah.
for any of those people that have Tyreek Hill out there in fantasy, I feel sorry for you, which will lead us into our last discussion of today, fantasy football rants. I know Luke definitely wants to take this one over.
Yeah.
I've heard a few things here and there, but I really want to listen to what he has to say now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a more so personal rant just because, okay, so I want to ask you guys the question. How many teams are in your guys' league?
So for our money league that me and John are in, we have 8 guys. It used to be 10, but then 2 guys couldn't make it back. So it's been 8, I think. And then
Yeah.
that is really the only one I care about. That's the only one I really say.
Got it. So my league has 14.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Okay. So
Yeah.
pretty much from the beginning of and I also had a horrible draft spot. It's a snake draft, and I was literally the 7th pick.
Ooh.
So, dude,
Yeah.
literally a horrible spot. So, my gosh, like it was horrible, bro. So, like I have literally my best player, probably Isaiah Pacheco, is on IR right now. So, you can only imagine how slim running backs is, like how scarce it is. Like, dude, it's terrible. And I also have DeAndre Swift, who's just doing absolutely buns right now. Got outscored by Miles Sanders last week. Like, what the heck, dude? And like, I don't know. The rest of my bench is horrible. I have no trade stock. Like, luckily, nobody in the league has done any sort of trading or anything like that, because like usually a lot of people trade after like literally week 1 after they lose, but everybody's kind of staying still. So I don't
So
know. I
what's your record?
barely I'm 2-1 right now, so like I'm playing okay, but dude, I barely won last week, and it was literally thanks to Jamar Chase. Like he got me exactly the amount of points I needed to win. So that was luckily okay, but I don't know, man. Like it's always a really low score that I'm putting up just because my running backs don't perform. My flex Xavier Worthy is buns, Kyle Pitts, like bruh, it's
Well, I feel like in a league with 14 people, you aren't the worst one. I mean, obviously.
no, 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 no. I'm not nearly the worst, but like
Yeah.
it's just yeah. I mean, there is teams that are pretty bad, but yeah, I'm playing against like literally the best team in my division this coming up week, so that's fun.
Oh yeah. Dude, I
But
feel like for me, my only rant of this season would be I swear to you, I play against the person who has top 3 in scoring like every week. And luckily I've been able to I'm 2-1. My first week was not that great, but my second week had 195 points, which is absolutely incredible. But I get to play against Michael. If you're a true Against the Call fan, you know who Michael is.
Mike.
He's won our fantasy league the past 2 years, and this year he is 0-3. So my whole campaign for the fantasy football champion is anybody but Mike, and I'm really looking forward to it. John, you on the other
Yeah.
hand, how you doing over
I
there?
mean, dude, I feel horrible. I'm 1-2. Now, my one win is against Michael, so I feel like I'm 3-0 in my eyes. But
One win against Michael is really 3 wins.
it really should be. And the only reason why that happened is because Christian McCaffrey was out. And
Oh, yeah,
that
true.
saved my butt. But
He didn't pick up Mason, or did he pick up Mason?
no, I had Mason.
Oh,
Dude, okay, no, tell me this. Michael, who is a fantasy football genius, he did the stupidest thing when CMC went out. He picked up Jusic. Is that how he pronounced it?
I
oh, Kyle
said,
Juszczyk.
Juszczyk,
yeah.
yeah. He picked up Juszczyk.
Why did he do that?
I had Debo too. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, dude, I'm straight. Like I was kind of stressing a little bit. I was like, but I'm like,
And the funny part is this is Michael's bench. If anyone wants to rant, this could be Michael's segment because he has Keenan Allen, who's been
Oh my
out but
gosh.
is now questionable. AJ Brown, who's questionable, but he went out. Um, Christian McCaffrey, DeAndre Swift, who hasn't been able to do anything. TJ Hawkinson, who's out. Quinn Johnson, who I think he picked up off the waivers, and then Nick Chubb. So
he's going through it right now.
yeah,
But I'm down there with him. I mean, Puka being out really puts a knife to my heart. But other than that, I mean, Samuel was out last year, or not last year, last week, which hurt me. Honestly, really hurt me last week. So I don't know. I'm hoping for a bounce back week, but it ain't looking good for a bounce back.
It's not looking good for me either this week, boys. I'm sorry. I'm
So
sorry to
I
say.
think that in the league where tight ends are not the best thing in fantasy every year, I think I made a good move during the draft to pick Brock Bowers. I mean, this guy is getting me double-digit points as a tight end.
Sam Laporta for me has just been butt cheeks, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Sam Laporta and Travis Kelsey owners are punching the wall, especially Mark Andrew owners
Yeah. Oh
who
my
like
gosh,
to
man.
move on.
Mark
And
Andrew owners are so pissed right now.
yeah,
mhm.
Mark Andrews was a guy that I rocked with 2 or 3 years straight, and the past 2 years I didn't get him, and I'm lucky that I didn't. Made the right choice there. But yeah, fellas, that is gonna do it. We can head into the post game, man. It's been really fun to be back with you guys, and just talking sports is so much fun.
Always.
Mhm.
Whenever we get to the future, maybe we could cut these segments into just like some pick'ems because
Yeah,
that did take a while. If you are a person that sat through this entire thing, I love you and hit me up. I'll get you a cookie.
for
But
sure.
yeah, I think that it's gonna be a really fun weekend, not only for football, but also for the boys. Um, UCF Colorado game and everything is coming up here.
It's gonna be
And
sick.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. And you guys got anything else you want to say?
No, not really. I'm just winging a prayer, I guess, for the rest of the football season. So,
True. And if you guys were wondering, Matthew could not make it because Chipotle called him in. So
oh yeah,
uh
gotta
The
go pick me up a
hurricane, bro.
bowl.
sad stuff. Should we go hit it up?
Yeah.
Let's go hit up Chipotle, boys.
That hurricane is crazy right
Yeah, they're in a hurricane too.
Yeah, dude. We're all dying.
now.
Oh, no way. Ha! LOLs and stuff.
All right, so that's gonna do it for episode 73 of Against the Call. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one.